So yesterday we were discussing about the data types, right? So let me quickly refresh it. So we were discussing about the data types, and data types are used to decide which type of data we are going to insert into a table field or table column, right? So based on the data type, we can decide, okay, this field, this column is going to store worker as well, I mean characters as well as numbers, right? And if it is age, it will store only numbers. So as part of that, we have a few data types here, like integer, big int, char, worker, and worker, right? So and so on. So integer will store only numbers which is 0 to 9, and big int also will store 0 to 9. But the difference is integer will allow only let's say 2 to the power of 4, something like that. So there's some calculation will be there, and it will allow only less volume of records, whereas big int will allow the huge volume of data, right? If data size is more, we can go for big int. And char and worker, see, char is, let's say, char will allow both numbers and then characters. Let's say you had given char of 10, but you have utilized only 4 bytes. But even though you utilize 4 bytes, the database memory will store for all 10 characters, right? And let's say char will occupy only 1 byte of memory, and whereas worker often, if you provide, it will occupy. So let's say if you are used only 4 characters, which is Amar, and rest all 6 are remaining, right? So you did not use it. So whatever the characters you have used, only for that much length, the database size will be utilized, or database space will be utilized, right? So worker storage capacity will be 2 bytes for each character. 2 bytes for each character, whereas char is only 1 byte for each character. Okay. And and worker, so there will be difference, they'll ask between char and worker, so you need to tell the same, right? So the difference is only the storage capacity wise. And then n worker, and also guys, worker of max is 8000 characters. Max is 8000 characters. Okay. And then n worker, see, n worker, if you give the storage wise, there is no differences between n worker and then worker. Okay. But additionally, n worker will allow the special characters as well. So 0 to 9, and also A to Z, and also special characters it will allow, like at the rate, right? So this kind of values also the n worker will store. Okay, that is the difference between worker and then n worker. And also its storage capacity is 4 bytes for each character, right? So for one character it will utilize 4 bytes, whereas for worker one character it will utilize 2 bytes of database memory. And n worker of max is 4000 characters. Can anyone guess why it is 4000 characters?
Because it occupies more bytes.
Yeah, right. So as simple as that. And then date. Okay, so date will display only the date out of the full date time, the system date time, which means
So what is the, sorry to interrupt,
yeah,
what is the characters of char?
char, there is no specific length out of it, so it will allow 8000 only. 8000, yeah, I think 32,000, I guess. There is no specific length of for it. Why? Because its storage is just 1 byte, right? So yeah, there is no limit. I think maybe 32,000. Okay. So the date will store only the date formats, either this way or any other format as well. So like few persons will use 06, 10, and then 2021, right? Only this much it will store, only the date part. It won't store the time part. But if you use time, it will only store the time, current time, or whatever it is, right? So 41, and then something like this. Okay, so time, if you give data type as time, it will store only the time. If you give date, it will store only date. But if you give date time, it will store the both combination of date and then time, which is similar to this. It will store both the combination, right? That's the difference between those three: date, time, and then date time. Any questions?
Nothing, sir.
Nothing.
So now when comes to the float and then decimal, float will store the approximate value, whereas decimal will store the exact value. Okay, so which means, see, for decimal we can give the length here, which means maybe 3,4 I can say, right? Which means the precisions we can allow maybe 3 characters before dot and then 4 numbers after that. Let's say the value will be 102.009, something like this, right? So whereas float, it will allow the approximate value. Let's say 102.1 instead of 009, it will store 01, something like this. So this is approximate value, but whereas the decimal can store exact value, right? So that's the difference. But mostly we'll not use a float. A decimal also will rarely use, but yeah, in real time mostly decimal will use, but not float. Okay. Like if you want to store money kind of thing. And also there is a data type called money also to store money related fields or columns. Okay. So there is no much difference for money and then integer, right? So you can give either of them, int or money. Any questions with the data types, guys?
Yeah, hello, Amar.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, Amar, I have one doubt. How to write syntax for address? So because in the address we have commas also. Then how to write that?
For address, you can give nvarchar of something, right? That's what I told here. Nvarchar will allow the special characters.
Okay. Comma is also one of the special character, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. If not, then the next topic is commands, right? So this is the major part
Sir,
here.
one small doubt.
Yeah.
Sir, you told worker maximum limit is 8,000 characters. Whereas char maximum limit, sir?
That's what I think I told, right? So maybe 32,000, I guess. Not sure. Mostly will not get use of maximum characters.
How much byte? Okay, sir. How much bytes used for one character? For
one
char?
byte. 1 byte.
1 byte.
This char will
I'm
be
writing
1
down
byte.
all the.
Okay. Char will be
That's
1
why I'm
byte.
asking.
Varchar will be 2 bytes.
Okay.
And then nvarchar will
2
be 4
bytes.
bytes.
4 bytes. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know why we did not know the maximum length of a char is? See, char itself is, if you go for char when the data is huge, what is the issue, guys? As per my explanation, if data is huge, let's say you want to store some 4,000 characters or 8,000 characters. If you use char, do you think the database space utilization will be good? If few rows will be 8,000 characters and few rows can be 10 characters also, right? The rest all 7,000 something characters will be did not utilized, but even though the database storage will be utilized, right? So mostly char will not use when like Boolean data types. I told right yesterday, char of 1 or char of 3. if you are sure that the values did not go beyond 2 characters or 3 characters, or the value is only 1 character, then only we'll go for char, right? Like yes or no, 0 or 1, true or false, T or F, something like that. Okay, yeah. So next topic is commands. So commands is, see, basically the SQL Server syntaxes itself will run on or will create by using the commands. So there is a segregation of commands in SQL Server, which is DDL, DML, TCL, and then DCL, right? So being a developer, these two are very important. These two also important, but these two are very much important. And in day to day, you will use more often these commands, DDL commands and then DML commands. So first, let's talk about these two, and then we'll go on with these two parts. These two maybe I'll talk about when I discuss stored procedures here, this part. Okay, TCL and then DCL. So first, let's concentrate on DDL and then DML. So what does the DDL stands for? So DDL is nothing but data definition language. And then DML stands for data manipulation language. What does the terminology says? Data definition, in the sense, how does the data is defined? How does the data is defined, guys? Based on the outline, right? Based on the structure. Agree? The what kind of data types we have created, what kind of data it stores, right? That is a data definition language. The table definition. The table definition is the outlook, the here, the whole, overall. But whatever here inside data is there, whatever the operation which you're gonna perform on this data, those commands are nothing but DML commands, data manipulation language, which will operate on the data within the table, right? And DDL is data definition language, maybe the outline of the table, right? Outline means either adding a new column or creating a table or dropping the whole table, something which operates on the whole table level, not the data level. Got it? Even data comes under table, but the whole table level, right? So those operations will come under DDL commands, and whereas whatever you gonna operate on the data, those commands will call it as a DML commands. Examples are, maybe if I tell you example, you'll get better understanding. So for DDL, we have drop, create, alter, and then truncate. These are the commands under DDL. And then when it comes to DML, it is select, update, and then delete and insert. So these are the segregated commands which belongs to DML, and drop, create, alter, truncate will be under DDL. So if you did not remember exactly, so there are few shortcuts, which is Dr. Cat for DDL, and for DML it is CUDA. Select, update, delete, and then insert. Dr. Cat is for drop, create, alter, and then truncate, right? So these are the shortcut keyword. If you want, you can remember this, or if you are good enough to remember these commands, you can, right? And there will be interview question asking that what are the commands which belongs to DDL and what are the commands which belongs to DML, right? And then there are few more interview questions I'll tell you when I go in detail, right? So I'm reviewing these two here. We'll discuss these two later. And yeah, guys, please go on mute. Rajendra. Yeah. See, as of now, how many commands you guys know, or what we discussed? Create, we discussed, right? Select and insert. Only 3 commands, you know, right? So let me start again with the create statement. So let me start freshly by creating a new table. Okay. So create, I'm creating a new table, create table, and then table name. Let's say I'll give emp, and then the column names are eid, int, and then ename. I can give worker, right? So worker of 15 maybe, and then employee salary, integer, and what else? Employee age, maybe int. Guys, are you following with me? See, once you know the syntax, I'll go fast. So let me know if I'm fast. Okay. Employee age int, employee salary, and then employee location. Location maybe I can give worker of 10. Right. So this is the syntax of creating a table. Create table and then table name followed by within the closed and open brackets we need to give the column names followed by the data types. All right. So do you think the syntax is correct? Highlight
No.
it. And there is a parsing here. Why?
No, we didn't close the bracket at the last.
Yeah. See here, it is saying the incorrect syntax near close bracket, right? So we have to close one more. See, this is the highlighter, and these two are opening and then closing braces correspondingly, right? So now the parser is used to check whether the syntax is correct or not. The tick mark is here, right? So this one, it will say command completed successfully, then the syntax is correct, you can execute it, right? See, I have created the table under master, right? But if you refresh October, you cannot see that table. Why? Because the database by default, I told, right, by default it will point to master. If you execute the commands without changing this, it will create under master. And you did not observe this, but you will try to refresh here and the table did not find. All right. So that's what yesterday also I told. So please try to change the database names here, whatever the database which you want to work. Or else there is one more way for that, which is you can write just above the query, use database name. This will also fine. Okay. Why? Because let's say I'm under MSDB now. Okay. If I go ahead and execute this one, see here, if we use database name command, automatically the database will point to the whatever the database which you have provided here. All right. So this way also we can use for safer side. Got it? So that the command will execute under October 2021 database, irrespective of what you have selected here. Okay. So let me refresh it. So table has been created. To select data from the table, so it is select star from. Guys, if you drag and drop here, the table name will be copied to the query editor window. Select star from table name. This is to select the data from the table. All right. So now I want to insert data into a created table, right? So for that, insert into a table name and then values. Let's say I'll insert here employee ID 1111 and name is Amar and salary is some 30,000 and employee age, let's say 27, and then employee location Bangalore. All right. Did I miss any columns here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how many columns we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So let me execute it. So one row is affected, but next time, let's say I did not insert value for this. Do you think it will insert, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
No, maybe.
I did not enter the value for employee location. First, we'll check whether the syntax is correct or not. Syntax is correct. Execute. What is the error message? Can you read out?
Column name or the number supplied value does not match with the table.
definition. So is it clear, error message, or is it getting any confusion?
Because we had
It is
created
clear,
5
right?
tables in the, yeah, it's clear.
So the number of columns which we supplied for the insert statement is less compared to the table creation statement. The table has 5 columns, whereas you are trying to insert only few, right? So you have to give the location to get the number of columns and then supplied values same, right? So let's say I'll give again Bangalore. Do you think the employee table will have the same ID multiple times in real time? Maybe let's say if some of you are working as a professors or lecturers, right? So do you think the same ID will be given to multiple employees or same ID will be given to multiple students? No,
No.
right? That will be duplicate, right?
Yes.
So this is one issue, guys. Do remember, we'll work on this in going forward classes. So the values should not insert like this, the duplicate values, at least the employee IDs. Name can be same. Why? Because the same employee or student can have a same name or first name. Maybe if I had maintained last name, it will be different, right? So remember this, we'll talk about this later. And let's say if you don't want to insert a value for Bangalore location, then how you need to execute this one? It will
Can't
not
we just put up the space?
sorry,
Can't we just enter the empty space over there?
we can enter like this, the blank value.
Yeah.
Right, but we'll see what it will happen. If you execute it, do you think blank is a value? Or let's say if you don't want to insert value this one, and we can insert by specifying the column names here. Got it? Let's see if you want to insert value for employee ID, give employee ID, column list after providing the table name, and then employee name, comma, employee salary. Like this you can insert, and then employee age. So specify the column list when you want to insert only few when you want to insert data only for few columns in the table. Okay, clear? Insert into table name and then provide the column list, which columns you want to insert data, and then give the values. Right here I'm not giving employee location, so I'm not providing value for employee location. So let me execute this command, and row is inserted. So if we go to table now, we can see null value here. Right, which one is better, showing a blank or null is better?
Blank is better.
Null, sir. Null.
Blank. Yeah, we'll discuss about that, which one is better. Guys, did you guys clear how to insert values for specific columns in a table?
Yes.
Right. So now we have one more problem. How many times you can insert the same one value at a time? So if you want to insert 20 values, so do you need to do it 20 times? Do you need to modify the query 20 times? So instead of that, we have another syntax, which is insert into emp, and we can write a select statement here with the values. I'm just copy and pasting, and my value is 3333. Let's say Sunil, and the salary is some 40,000. Age 29 and location is Hyderabad. Right, and I can write a statement called union all. I'll tell you what it is, and I can write similar statements multiple times here like this. Okay, for the last statement, you should not give union all, because there is no another select statement to club it. And I'll tell you what is union and union all. So I may use union also here, and let me change the values. 4444, and let's say ABC here, and let it be rest all same. 5555. So is it? And then 6666. here I may use Rajesh, right? So Chennai and Bangalore, Pune, right? So these are the values I'm trying to insert at a time. So instead of entering the values once, I'm using this kind of syntax: insert into table name and then followed by select statement. And also, if you want to insert only 4 column values, then you have to provide this column list here and remove this part, whatever it is. Which column do you want? You don't want to insert it, right? So what does union all will do means, union all will combine the multiple inputs. Like select command is used to display the data, right? It will retrieve the data. So what happens, the union all will combine the data. Let's say if I execute these two, it will combine both data sets values like this, right? It will append the values union all. But the thing is, union, we have 2 keywords here, union and then union all. So if you use union all, duplicates will be allowed. If let's say I'll give here 3333 again, both the values will get selected. And let's say I'll use Sunil also here, the same. The whole row should be duplicated. So now the whole row is duplicated, right? So the example is, if I select union all, both the values are same for all the columns, and it is selecting both the columns. But if I use union here while combining the data, if I execute, you can see only once. What is the difference? Union will not allow the duplicate values, whereas union all will allow the duplicate values in combining the data. Clear, guys?
Yes.
So
Can you show us
union,
with an example? Can you
this is
How
an
explain?
can
example,
we
right?
write multiple names and multiple values at a single time?
Yeah, that's what. See here. This is the multiple values I'm trying to select, and then you can see 3333 twice is there, and then all these values are duplicated. It is allowing when I use union all. Let's say everywhere I'll remove all, I'll keep union statement. Okay, in combining the data. I'm not inserting, guys. I'm not selecting insert into. Okay, I'm selecting only the select statements. And if I execute, can you see 3333 2 times? No, right?
Yes.
Why? Because the whole row is duplicated, and that is the reason why union will not allow the duplicate values, whereas union all will allow duplicate values. Let's say here instead of Sunil, let's say I'll change the value. Now do you think union will retrieve or not?
Retrieve.
Why? Because the whole row is not duplicated now.
Duplicated.
Got it? When the whole row is duplicate, whole row in the sense the full values. This is one row.
What is my doubt is,
Mhm.
if we had multiple names like 1 to 20 to 30 names at a single time, we
Mhm.
want to enter one by one each, or else we can write this type.
Better we can write this type, right?
Okay.
Yeah. See, if you have values that much, then let's say if there is some other source, we can use ETL process. Okay. So this is just the sample data dumping manually. Going forward, we'll see multiple ways of inserting data. In real time, we cannot insert some 10,000 rows or 1 lakh rows manually, right? So there are some other procedures, I'll tell you. Any other questions? So since we are selected here, data will not insert. So I'm selecting insert into now. So now data will get inserted into the table. 4 rows are affected. We can check the data here. Data has been inserted, right? Anyone has any concerns with union and union all? Now I just simply explained. Maybe I'll explain separately one more time when that concept comes. Okay. Shall we continue for another half an hour, guys? Shall I send the link one more time, or
Okay, sir.
if someone has any software installation issue, if you feel like you will be lagged, then I won't take class. Otherwise, we can connect one more time.
No, because the softwares are not yet installed.
Okay. Okay, then be prepared. Tomorrow we'll take 1 hour class. Okay. Why? Because since we did not go with the flow, right? So try to install, guys, today, and then tomorrow I'll take 1 hour class.
Okay.
Okay. And any other questions?
No.
No. Okay. So try to install the softwares. At least try to practice till here. And then if you have any concerns, let me know, and we'll connect tomorrow. Any other questions? Still we have 2 more minutes. If you have any doubts, if you don't have doubts, we can drop off. Yeah.
వాట్ అబౌట్ iOS యూజర్స్ సార్? నేను నిన్న మిమ్మల్ని అడిగాను కదా, మ్యాక్ ఎలా అండి?
మ్యాక్ ఓకే. సో గూగుల్లో చూసావా నువ్వు?
చూశాను, అది ఓన్లీ విండోస్ మాత్రమే చూపిస్తుంది. విండోస్.
Okay. Okay. Can you call me at 11 o'clock? We'll connect and then we'll
Okay.
try to install.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Any other concerns? But okay, guys, that's it for today, and then we'll connect tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.